Yo, what's good everyone? OJ here and welcome to another video. Today, we've got some awesome information, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we are starting off with Bayonetta 3, a tiny bit of a development update straight from the producers themselves. So Platinum's Hideki Kamiya and Atsushi Inaba did provide a small update during a stage event at the Bit Summit Roadshow Tokyo earlier today. It was mentioned that Bayonetta 3 is on course and the development is in sync. So let's go ahead and get right into what they had to say on the matter. Quote, "It's nice to be able to tell you that everything is going very, very well. We're all excited about what we're doing on that game." Now, in other news, when it comes to Bayonetta 3, they discussed the origins of Bayonetta's gun heels and how that kind of came to be. They also talked about having guns and using them both to shoot and hit enemies, in addition to the animation and stuff like that. So it was kind of a nice little talk, a development talk with Bayonetta and how they kind of put things together. Now, we haven't gotten many updates on Bayonetta 3 for the Nintendo Switch, guys. It was announced at the Game Awards 2017. I think they talked about how they wanted to make it the greatest action game of all time and super innovative, and then we have this part, and that's it. So based on what they said here, with development going very, very well, I'm pretty sure Bayonetta 3 is going to be a 2019 release. I think it's going to launch sometime, maybe Q3 or so, 2019. I think the Bayonetta 1 and 2 collections did really well according to Nintendo. I think they sold 400,000 units plus, and that was a while ago. That was like months and months ago that they detailed how much that those games sold. So it did really well for what they were trying to do. The name of Bayonetta is out there more. If you guys remember last generation with Bayonetta 2, there was a lot of backlash when it came to the game coming over to the Wii U because Nintendo saved it. Then you also have Doc Trey81, who's a great YouTuber. He actually started a campaign with Operation Platinum in order to get the game to 1 million units in sales. Not sure if it ever got there. We got VG charts numbers, then it went over 1 million, then it went back down, but we have no digital numbers. Maybe it got there, maybe it didn't, but definitely with Bayonetta 1 and 2 releasing on the Switch, and if you combine that with the Wii U, definitely it surpassed 1 million units sold. So at least we can say there that it's over 1 million units combined with Switch and the Wii U for sure. So Bayonetta is definitely more popular now at this point than really that it's ever been beforehand. And I think that when Bayonetta 3 launches on the Nintendo Switch, that is probably going to be the most successful Bayonetta game ever released. I think it's going to outsell all the other ones just because of the type of system the Nintendo Switch is, the momentum, and 2019 is looking absolutely insane. I gotta do a whole separate video for the games that are coming out, but let's just talk about just a few of them. Okay, Bayonetta 3, right, that's coming, but also Yoshi, Fire Emblem, the Daemon Cross Machina. I mean, there's so many different games that are coming out in 2019. Metroid Prime 4 might be one of those. You have the new Pokemon game as well. We could have Yokai Watch here in the West. It's coming out late 2018 in Japan. There's just a ton of different games that are coming out, and I think it's going to be really good for the Nintendo Switch. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. That game's also coming, and that is going to be a huge hit that people aren't giving it enough credit for, with all that content that they've packed in there and the type of system that the Nintendo Switch is. But getting back to Bayonetta, guys, I think 2019 is a lock. Development is going very well. I think that this is going to be the greatest action game ever made. I already still feel that Bayonetta 1 and 2 are the greatest action games ever made. I think they're better than Devil May Cry games. I think they're better than the God of War games. Bayonetta has always been my favorite, back all the way on the Xbox 360 in 2010. So to see Bayonetta 3 and what they're going to do, it's just going to be insane. I think they're going to have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. I think they're going to innovate a lot in the battle system. Even Bayonetta 2 took the refined combat that you saw in Bayonetta 1 and they even made that more innovative. Like somehow it's even better than what they did there. It's just smoother, more fluid. Even without the solid 60 frames per second on the Wii U version, it still felt smooth and fluid. And then of course with Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch, those run really good. pretty much hitting 60 frames the whole time. So I'm excited about Bayonetta 3. I love the fact that the development is going really well, and I think that we're in for a treat next year, which probably could be my game of the year in 2019 would be Bayonetta 3. We'll have to see what Pokemon does, but I'm pretty sure that Bayonetta 3 is going to be my game of the year, because it's always been my game of the year. Whenever it launches Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, now Bayonetta 3, I think it's going to be that, but we'll have to wait and see what other titles Nintendo has, because Fire Emblem 3 Houses is coming out next year, so maybe I shouldn't go ahead and proclaim it to be my game of the year, because Fire Emblem 3 Houses is going to be there too, so I might have to do a co-game of the year like I did last year with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, kind of like they're just both right up there for me. So what do you guys think about Bayonetta 3 and the development and what Hideki Kamiya had to say here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the next topic here, we've got some hype, new details, and information on Grandia 1 and 2, the HD remasters that are coming over to the Nintendo Switch. This is really cool stuff, guys, because these details are great, but there is one interesting little note here, is that these games aren't being released in Japan. At least Gung Ho says that. We'll see if it actually ends up being released in Japan, but I find that absolutely insane that they just wouldn't release these games in Japan on the Nintendo Switch. So these are somewhat Switch exclusives, console exclusives for the time being. There is a Grandia game coming to the PC that's being remastered. They already have one of them on there. The other one is coming over, but when it comes to consoles, this is pretty much an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch for the time being. So let's get into some of the details for Grandia 1 on the Nintendo Switch. So they've enhanced details to the UI, sprites, and texture art. Original cinematic videos receiving visual enhancements, which is really good because those cinematic videos from like older games are pretty bad. Widescreen support and customizable resolutions for the PC version of the game. The addition of MSAA, bloom, normal mapping, and blur effects. Steam cards and achievements, obviously that's for Steam. Japanese audio and English subtitles. Japanese support, English and Japanese. Digital converted game manual utilizing PS1 and Sega Saturn source code. So they're doing some witchcraft here with blending those two together, because there are some issues with the PS1 version compared to the Sega Saturn one and what they did there with the original Grandia. So yeah, I think it's best to take the best of both of those and utilize that and see what you can do going forward for the original Grandia. And then the gamepad and keyboard support with remappable controls. So really all of that for the Grandia 1. Some of those were PC things, but this is also coming in a bundle to the Nintendo Switch, so you can expect a lot of those improvements and enhancements also on the Switch version. Now Grandia 2, which I think is already on the PC and everything that you can buy, but obviously for the bundle with the Nintendo Switch, you have the digital converted game manual utilizing Grandia 2 Anniversary Edition source code, which originally was based on the Sega Dreamcast source code. So there you go on that. Now fixed PC video/audio desync, added support to exit to title, and Japanese subtitles for the Nintendo Switch version of the game as well. So this is great for the Grandia 1 and 2 coming out, whether you're going to play it on the PC, whether you're going to play it on the Nintendo Switch. All these additions and updates should be on the Nintendo Switch version when it comes bundled, and I think that's going to be later this year in the West. With all of these additions this year, I'm pretty sure. And Grandia is one of those games that I played back in the day, but it was always just so hard to get a hold of. Like, one of my friends had Grandia, and I was able to play it back on the Sega Saturn because nobody had a Sega Saturn. And then I remember when I went to one of the mom and pop stores for video games, they had a Sega Saturn there. They had Grandia, so I could rent it out and I could play right there. It was $1 for like an hour or something like that, or $2 for an hour. I just remember scrounging up coins and scrounging up money to go play Grandia back in the day. And then Grandia 2, I just got to play a little bit at a buddy's house as well. Thought it was fantastic. I love the battle systems in these games, and seeing all these different improvements and changes to the UI and just fixing things just really makes me happy that this game is coming to the Nintendo Switch, because this honestly fits the system. And I know I say this a lot, but this is what's happening, guys, with the Nintendo Switch and RPGs. This is the most RPGs. This is the most classic announced, just classic RPGs in general, and just big adventure type of games that I've ever seen come to a Nintendo system. This fast. Usually we have to wait a while, right? With GameCube, we didn't see this many RPGs coming. Even when you had a system that was very developer friendly and Japanese developers did like the system, you still didn't see as much. Like with the Nintendo Switch, you're just getting a rush of so many classic announcements in games. Final Fantasy recently got announced. Grandia got the announcement back then, and there are more on the way. So I'm really happy to see that Grandia 1 and 2 remasters coming over to the Switch with these improvements. I think it's going to be a great game that people are going to jump into and say, yo, this is actually really good. How did I miss this back then? Or why didn't I get a chance to play it even though it was on like PS1, which from what I understand, not necessarily the best, but it was still there. So what do you guys think about Grandia 1 and 2 remasters, all the different updates that they're doing to the game, what they've improved? Are you guys planning on picking this one up for the Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.